Come back. Come back with your
Party. Good to see you. So other chairmen, thank you very much. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this meeting. I must particularly commend the national leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, led by Yusuf Mohammed Dantalle, who doubles as the chairman of the Allied People's Movement, the APM, for this initiative. I understand that the national leadership of IPAC, as the umbrella body of all political parties, is accompanied by the leadership of IPAC in the Federal Capital Territory with the sole purpose of seeking the Commission's clarification on the tenure of the current chairman for the 6 area councils, as well as the 62 councillors in the Federal Capital Territory. I must also place on record that the Commission has earlier received inquiries from some law firms, an individual citizen, a political party, and one FCT chairmanship aspirants forum. In summary, all the inquiries relate to the tenure of the area councils and the demand for the Commission to release the timetable and schedule of activities for the area council elections. Their inquiries are based on the provision of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which was the subsisting law at the time elections to the area councils were held on Saturday, 12 February 2022. The Electoral Act 2010 as amended provides for a 3-year tenure for chairmen and councillors, which in their opinion expires next year. However, Nigerians are aware that the National Assembly has since repealed and reenacted the Electoral Act 2010 as amended as the Electoral Act 2022. In particular, in the exercise of its powers as the lawmaking body for the Federal Capital Territory, the National Assembly extended the tenure of the area councils from 3 to 4 years, thereby aligning it with executive and legislative elections nationwide. This is one of the important provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. The Act came into force on Friday, 25th February 2022, 2 weeks after the last area council elections in the FCT. By the time the elected chairman and councillors were sworn in 4 months later, on 14th June 2022, they took their oath of allegiance and oath of office on the basis of the new Electoral Act, the Electoral Act 2022, which provides for a 4-year tenure. Consequently, their tenure expires in June 2026. For the avoidance of doubt, tenure is not defined by the date of election, but the date of the oath of office for executive elections, or the date of inauguration for legislative houses. For the executive, the tenure belongs to the elected individual, while for legislators, the tenure belongs to the legislature. A president, vice president-elect, governor, deputy governor-elect, senator-elect, member-elect, chairman-elect or councillor-elect cannot start exercising the powers of office and drawing from the remunerations attached to it until such a person is sworn in or the Legislative House is inaugurated. To further illustrate this position, the Commission has since released the timetable for the 2024 Edo and Ondo governorship elections. This does not mean that whoever wins the election in Edo State in September or in Ondo State in November will immediately assume office. This will only take place after the administration of the oath of office upon the expiration of the tenure of the incumbent holders of the office. Elections are only held in order to avoid a vacuum. That is why the Constitution empowers the Commission to hold elections not earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days before the end of tenure of the incumbent holders of elective offices. In the case of the Federal Capital Territory, Section 108, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, under which the current chairman and councillors were sworn in on the 14th of June 2022, is clear and therefore unambiguous. And let me quote Section 108.1 of the Electoral Act 2022. It says, an area council shall stand dissolved at the expiration of 4 years, commencing from the date A, when the chairman took the oath of office, or B, when the legislative arm of the council was inaugurated, whichever is earlier, unquote. Again, there are several judicial authorities, including the judgment of the Supreme Court, that tenure begins from the date of oath and not the date of election. The law firms that have written INEC on behalf of their clients ought to have drawn their attention to both the law and judicial pronouncements on the matter. You may also wish to note that when the Electoral Act 2022 was signed into law 2 weeks after the Commission conducted the last area council elections in the FCT, the incumbent holders, chairmen and councillors, challenged the Commission that we conducted the election too early, claiming that the new Electoral Act had extended their tenure from 3 to 4 years. We reminded them that they took their oath of office under the old law before the coming into force of the new Electoral Act. Therefore, their tenure will expire in June 2022, and it expired in June 2022. I wish to reassure you that we are aware of our responsibilities under the law. Section 28, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 requires the Commission to release the timetable and schedule of activities 360 days, that is 1 year before the date fixed for the election. The timetable cannot be released 2 years ahead of the election. As you are all aware, the area council election in the Federal Capital Territory conducted by INEC remains a model for local government elections in the country. There is stability of tenure for chairmen and councillors. There has never been a caretaker committee in any area council in the FCT. Democratic elections are conducted on a regular basis. There is plurality of electoral outcomes, as no single political party has ever won elections in all the 68 constituencies in the Federal Capital Territory, 6 area council chairmen and 62 councillors. We will continue to uphold the sanctity of tenure and improve the credibility of these elections. May I therefore appeal to all persons with ambition to contest for the positions of chairmen and councillors in the FCT to be guided by the provisions of the law and judicial pronouncement on the issue of tenure. I also appeal to political parties to enlighten their members accordingly. At the appropriate time, the Commission will release the timetable and schedule of activities for the election. We appreciate the role of IPAC, led by the National Chairman, in mobilizing stakeholders in the FCT, particularly IPAC, made up of leaders of political parties in the Federal Capital Territory, to interface with INEC on this very important matter. This is one of the objectives behind the formation of IPAC, so that when matters of this nature come up, the Commission will always be available to interact with you and provide necessary clarification. So as leaders of political parties, please inform all your members who are aspirants who have engaged lawyers to write us that the Commission has provided the clarification. Also, please inform the forum of chairmanship aspirants in the Federal Capital Territory that INEC has now provided the clarification. Once again, I welcome you to this meeting. Thank you and God bless.
That was such a riveting and instructive.
That I first have to thank the Chairman of the Commission at short notice for giving us this audience to clarify issues around the tenure of office of elected officials in the Federal Capital Territory. There have been issues about if they are meant to spend 3 years in office and 4 years in office. And I recall that in the previous meeting, the national leadership of political parties have with the Commission, this issue has been clarified. But I still deem it necessary to invite the Inter-Party Advisory Council General Assembly of the FCT to come with me to the Commission for first-hand information about the state of the status of the tenure of the elected officials in FCT, and that is why we are here. Once again, I thank you for giving us this audience at short notice.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands